I welcome you to worship on Remembrance Sunday here at Trinity Church. And unfortunately, I need to let you know that clarifying information has come to us from the Simcoe Muskoka Health Unit that singing in any public gathering, including church services, is discouraged. So sad to say, except for O Canada, we need to revert to an earlier pattern, which was in place here at Trinity, of humming the hymns while following the text in the hymn book or in the bulletin. And only our soloists, again this week, Chuck and Sally McClelland, will be singing out with the hymns. Yes. The remembrance pages from those who volunteered for active service from this congregation are in the display case in the narthex, and you can look at them after worship if you would like to. Today especially, though, we remember Master Corporal Matthew Cousins, the late son-in-law of Rick and Marion Body, who lost his life along with 5 other crew members of the Royal Canadian Air Force on April 29 of this year in a helicopter crash participating in a NATO exercise. You may remember. Sad news from within the family. Joe Coulter has died last Sunday, and his funeral service was on Thursday. May Trinity members extend our love and care to his wife, Isabel. Please note all of the announcements in the bulletin, especially about the formation of a grief group that will begin to meet this coming Thursday at 2 o'clock in the Hearth Room. Physical distancing and masks in place, of course. Please call the church office to register. Today, flowers enhance our worship space. They are given in memory of Derek Shelley, the anniversary of whose death falls close to Remembrance Day. The family's greeting to us and in memory of Derek is contained on the announcement page in your bulletin. And now, hum along with me. Singing in our hearts, will remain seated for our gathering song. We live our lives in the unfolding of time, and yet every human era and every human life is set against the horizon of eternity. Let us praise God, our Maker and Sustainer, whose face we seek in worship. Our hum is Psalm and Meter 90, found at 806 in Voices United. Please join me in our opening prayer in unison, found in the bulletin. Eternal God, companion of all who seek you, and seeker of all who turn away from you, draw near to us, that we may draw near to you, and grant us grace to love and serve you, that we may find in your service true freedom through Jesus Christ, our way, our truth, our life. Well, despite the loss of singing, how grateful we are to Rob for enhancing the instrumentation of our hymns. And it's all we could do not to sing.
Yeah.
So, I am thinking about Joshua, who fit the Battle of Jericho. You may remember from Sunday school days, or even more recently, the story of how Moses brought the people of Israel, the 12 tribes, out of Egypt, where they had been indentured laborers, as it were, or virtual slaves, and brought them from Egypt, and then around in a circuitous way to the east side of the Jordan. And there on Mount Nebo, Moses saw the promised land, Canaan, the land that God had promised to Abraham when God called Abraham and Sarah and their great entourage out of further east in Mesopotamia and brought them around through the Fertile Crescent and into Canaan. But of course, in due time, there was a famine. And the people, the children of Israel, went down into Egypt in that time of famine. And there, in one of the mysteries that the Bible recounts, Joseph, who had been sold as a slave and had become prime minister, led them into an era of prosperity. Unfortunately, the time came when a Pharaoh arose who knew not Joseph. And so the Hebrew people were reduced to this condition of slavery. But now, they're on the east side of the Jordan, and Moses is dying, gives the leadership to Joshua, and the tribes cross over. And beginning with Jericho, a conquest of Canaan, the land west of the Jordan, begins. After years of settlement, where each of the 12 tribes received an apportionment of the land, Joshua himself is about to die. And he summons the leaders of the 12 tribes to Shechem. Shechem is the place where the bones of Joseph were interred after they were brought up from Egypt under Moses. Joshua has brought them to Shechem to issue a challenge. And that challenge is that they should serve the Lord their God who brought them out of Egypt, and the Lord their God only. And so with the leaders gathered before him, Joshua points out that they have been very busy serving other gods as well. Not just coming to worship in Shechem, but finding their way up on the hillsides where there are shrines to the local gods of Canaan and worshiping there. And some even want to find a way to worship the gods of the detestable Egyptians. And this is Joshua's moment as he faces his departure from this life and from leadership in Israel. And he says to them, remember that the Lord your God is a jealous God and will tolerate no service of other gods. And we need to make a commitment this very day to serve only the Lord your God who liberated you from Egypt. Oh, yes, of course we will serve only the Lord our God. That's the instant reaction of the leaders of the 12 tribes to Joshua's challenge. And Joshua says, wait a minute. Understand me. This isn't just an easy covenant to make. The Lord your God is a jealous God. And your future in this land, the future of your tribes, depends entirely on your trust in this, the Lord your God, to be the only God you serve. Inspired, the leaders of the 12 tribes agree. And they follow Joshua, who says, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And Joshua sets up a stone. It's a stone of witness. This stone will forever witness to the covenant you have made this day.
We gotta stop singing this 60s praise music or we might have some teenagers show up. This song would have been a little bit more appropriate on Thursday. I ask the Lord, help me find a way, help me find my way from His land, His lonely body, His heavenly land. I ask the Lord, help me please find my way. Days don't
Then the kingdom of heaven will be like this. 10 bridesmaids took their lamps and went to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish, and 5 were wise. When the foolish took their lamps, they took no oil with them, but the wise took flasks of oil with their lamps. As the bridegroom was delayed, all of them became drowsy and slept. But at midnight there was a shout, "Look, here is the bridegroom, come and meet him." Then all of those bridesmaids got up and trimmed their lamps. The foolish said to the wise, "Give us some of your oil, for our lamps are going out." But the wise replied, "No, there will not be enough for you and for us. You had better go to the dealers and buy some for yourselves." And while they went to buy it, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went with him into the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. Later the other bridesmaids came also, saying, "Lord, Lord, open to us." But he replied, "Truly I tell you, I do not know you. Keep awake, therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour." Hear what the Spirit is saying to the church. Thanks be to God.
We're going to hum vigorously again. It's on your insert. Give me oil in my lamp. And maybe some of you can find the descant in your home. Give me oil in my lamp. Give me oil in my lamp. Give me oil in my lamp.
Give me love.